Hello and welcome to today's podcast. Today we have with us Bharani. He's none other than a director himself, working on scripts day in, day out. I've never seen him idle, he's always writing. But apart from that, his recent achievements, of course, Dadasaheb Phalke Film Festival Awards. He has been nominated.
Nominated, yes.
You'll get it.
Yeah.
So he's been nominated with the film called Puppets, which luckily I've been a part of.
Yes, I was lucky to have you to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is introduction going on. I hope you know that, no?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
So then after that, he's also been an assistant director in Valter Veeraya. So let's go ahead into it. It will be a fun banter, I hope.
Yeah.
Unless he's not annoying. But let's go ahead and...
I can't promise that.
Okay. Let's go ahead into it. Now, okay, let's start with Puppets.
No, before, see, you gave a very good intro about me. What's up? What are you doing over here? What is this all about?
So me...
Why me? Why are you introducing me? Why are you interviewing me? Who am I?
I'm giving you a favor, you know.
I know
Close
that.
friend
I know
with
that.
us,
I know
start
that.
off
Yeah,
with
yeah.
you and I say.
So, but how come you have decided to?
See,
what is this?
So people don't emphasize on the journey of growth, right? So I thought, why can't we just have conversations about what are the difficulties, what are the challenges, what are the unaware facts that people don't talk about.
Yeah.
And even in if you see podcasts, people talk about a lot of things, but the journey is something which is missing.
I see.
So I want to interview when people are in the journey.
Yeah.
So that they don't give up.
Yeah.
You only see people who have, directed a film.
Who have made it.
Who have made it.
Made it.
What about those who are,
still on the way.
On the way to make it. That's a big story to tell. And it's very important to know for the upcoming directors, cinematographers, actors, writers to not give up.
I see.
There are people who are going ahead and doing it, right? So that's the main concept of it. It is my first time being on camera.
Being on camera.
Yeah.
You were an actress and you were part of Puppet. So this is not a first time for you.
No, first time in the sense of to talk, to do all of that. It's something which
you're always interviewing people.
I'm talking about on camera.
On camera, I see. Okay.
Why is it going more of a let's bully Shraddha kind of a podcast today?
It's more fun. It's more fun. No, I just wanted to ask you something. Are you so you're gonna be talking to people of all fields?
Yeah, open to all. Why put one? Right?
Yeah, of course.
Why put a pin on one?
Yeah, of course.
Today it's your story. Tomorrow maybe someone from the kitchen, someone from the restaurant.
That's
Today
great.
we're sitting in a cafe. Hopefully we get him soon to talk about it.
That's great.
So whoever is ready to share their journey for anything, not everything might be useful, but something might be end of the day. Right?
Yeah.
So that's the main concept, and try to be as interesting as possible.
I can only try.
For them.
I
to have to bear you. I don't have a choice. So yeah. So let's start with the most recent. I think you've also given an interview in
that was
nominations.
Yeah, for the nominations that these guys had sent us some questionnaires, and I felt so stiff, and I was freaking out. I was passing out. I think that took it's a 4-minute video, but took me 8 hours to get, I think. But had more respect towards actors since then. Anyways, as we were talking about this.
Puppets. Firstly, I think that was the first time I ever had makeup on my face and did something on camera because whatever I did, I never makeup.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a fun experience. How was it for you, the shoot? Let's start with the shoot.
Okay.
Because that's where I think I was also a little involved. So I know a little bit, and then we'll go back into how you went ahead with it.
So with the shoot, with the entire process of Puppets, what worked truly for me when it comes to making that film was, there was a small window of opportunity. There was a very small window of opportunity for me to have made. I could have only made it then at that point of time. So another friend of mine, another AD from the sets of Valter Veeraya, Balaji, was planning on making a short film. He came to a place that we used to hang out at this cafe called Chai Dukan, and he wanted to meet the actress for his film. Lovely actress. Huge shout out to Tanuja Madhurupantula, who is also the actress in my short film. So basically what happened was, Balaji had called Tanuja to meet for his shot. I saw her and I was like, okay, there was this idea I had about a particular kind of a frame that is related to my film. A demented woman. And I saw her and I was like,
How did you get that frame?
I don't know. I told her, you look like a demented woman. She was like, what? No, I'm like, no. Hear me
Don't
out.
say
Hear me
that
out.
to anyone
I
else.
shouldn't say that because that's how I introduced myself to her. And then she was like nice enough to kind of like sit down. I was like, can you open your hair? I was very creepy with her without even realizing. Anyways, so I saw her and I was like, I reached out to Balaji and I was like, let's do one thing. You make a shot, I'll be your AD. I'll make a shot, you be my AD. Let's pool in resources. Same DOP, same cast and crew. For his shot, which is also quite a brilliant one, had only one actor. It was just Tanuja.
Correct.
For mine, I needed a whole barrage of people to
In the background.
like, so many people to come about. So basically, because of that, now the DOP is only coming in for 6 days. In 6 days, in 8 days, he had to shoot 2 films.
2 films.
Because then he has to go back to Chennai. So the DOP, again, huge shout out to Mufti, whom I met on the sets of Valter Viraya, whom I have spoken to, and I knew that I can work with this person, decided to work for both of us. So he was okay. He was just doing this like, okay, I see that this is a good idea, and he didn't charge us for it. So that worked for us. So because of this, it can only happen now. So I had an earlier opening for a feature film that I was planning. So I just took that like the cold open, like how we have like on like a cold open, like just throws us into the world of the story. I had an opening. I just fleshed out the entire opening and made a script around it. So because of that, I had like a workable script that I could shoot for a short film.
So how did you plan for the? You know you have 3 days to
I had
shoot
4
it.
days.
You had 4 days to shoot it, right? You have your DOP, you have your actors.
Yeah.
How exactly did you plan it around with, let's say, the DOP, the actors, who to come in, who to cast?
Yeah.
What goes behind it for the shoot?
First thing first, we had to lock down on one very important thing for the film, which is the locations. So this is a kind of a very, the story of puppets deals with the IT sector.
Correct.
Right?
Corporate world.
So we needed an office that kind of like suits that atmosphere. So first it was about locking down on the office.
So first step is
lock
your locations.
Lock the locations.
Okay.
So we went all around the city, did a whole recce, locked all the locations. And because of that, okay, this is happening at this date, this is happening at this date, this is happening at. So because of that, that gave us priority about like what kind of like actors to come in and everything. So basic schedule.
So the basic is location, then you went into actors.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then you went into, okay, let's block the dates such that they don't collide with each other and they're perfectly same.
No, we had to do kind of like, because this was such a small window, like such a small time frame during which we could shoot. So we had to kind of like club things together. If we didn't have the luxury of like being able to do one thing at a time.
Correct. I remember there were 10 people on set. Not 10, there were 20 people on set the day I was there.
Yeah.
I mean, the other ones were slightly less.
That was just
cast.
actors. That was just the
Correct.
actors.
There were actors,
Actors.
just 10 of the actors,
And
background, people from everywhere. I think we were having fun in between also.
No, that was great for me because I could focus on like getting the individual shots and you were there to entertain the people.
We had a crowd.
Yeah, to had a crowd. No, but see, all of these people who are in the background, they're actors.
Correct.
They're legit actors who have done theater, who have done short
How
films.
did you get hold of them?
We just put out like flyers in Lamakan. We put out like a post on Instagram, on WhatsApp stories, and people reached out to us. And we were very upfront with them, saying that there are no lines here.
There's just a background.
You're in background, and we told them that very honestly that it's performance, but it's not dialogue, guys. So like if that doesn't work for you, no harsh feelings. And luckily, I just told you to come.
Oh.
These we are talking about actors, bro, like professionals.
Okay.
You do naughtanki in everyday life. That does not count.
Sorry.
I'm just saying. Anyways,
okay.
No. You're like seriously. Come on, man. Of course. No, I was grateful for all the help that I could get. I begged everyone for everything, and everyone obliged.
I missed the begging. Okay.
I did. You forgot about it.
No. I only came up to you.
Yes, you did.
See, my perspective was if you're doing something on your own, I just wanted to be a part of it.
No, that was very
help
helpful.
you out.
Yeah.
If you needed it. If not,
We
I
needed
told
it.
you I won't even
No,
come.
we needed it. We absolutely needed
You
it.
needed people to be. Yeah, I figured that out.
That's it.
And the concept, I remember I didn't even hear the story.
Nope.
And you just made me wear makeup and just stand there and act like a
Crazy person.
Yeah, crazy person.
Just told you to be yourself.
Okay. So director is creepy, why not?
Of course.
So yeah. So now this is the set part.
Yes.
Now let's go back into how did you start and know that this is the correct script?
It was purely what. So I had for a very long time prior to making the shot. During the lockdown, I was seeing how my friends who were working in the IT sector were constantly being pushed to the edge of sanity, of the way they were working day and night, and then there were these things like Zoom mandatory fun hangout times.
Correct.
If there is anything more crazy than that, I think satire died with that when I just read that.
But from another perspective, from a corporate perspective again.
I get, please, devil's advocate.
No, see, there should be a maybe people who are with us might not enjoy it, but there are a lot of people who enjoy the
fair enough.
Think of it, and that's why
fair
they
enough,
do it.
but there is always massive resentment
towards it.
Because I rather spend time with my family. I rather spend time with my friends than do because it's mandatory fun hangout. There's nothing fun about mandatory. Anyways, so I was seeing this and I was.
No, but my question is just to understand first, the ideation part is all before.
Yes.
When you script it, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of drafts.
Yeah.
How do you know this is your final draft?
I think I knew my start and the end. I knew where I wanted to start the story and where I wanted to end it. And it is all about writing it enough. I think I did some 30 drafts in the matter of 4 to 5 days. And all my friends who were helping me make this at that point of time had to listen to all 30 drafts 30 times over and over again. And I had it became second nature for me by the end of the process to get into the narration of it. So for me, what actually worked towards figuring out that correct spot of okay, I think this is good enough, was where the story flowed from one scene to the other. And it felt natural. It felt organic. It's not trying to push itself into the next scene.
And what are the logistical things that you had to take care of with respect to, let's say, the food for the staff, or what are the props you need for location? You have seen the location, but to see it and to do it then, there are a lot of things that we miss. For example, right now for the shoot also, there's so many things that we got just like this, right? To set this up and wherever people are watching. So what can you do to avoid the last minute jugaads? The best. I mean, that will happen for sure. But how can you be so well prepared with it? What are the things you should take to be so prepared with it?
So this is something sort of for me, it comes from having I had a perspective opened for me when for the very first time I enjoyed the joy of learning, which was during my film school era, where
Annapurna
ASFM. I passed out in 2015. Anyways, so during that phase, what they taught us more than anything was to prepare enough. Prepare enough to be able to improvise. So we did that.
So do you think and do you say that film school is a necessity? Because
no, it's not. It's a luxury.
Then how do they learn?
It's a luxury.
Then how? Let's say I want to be a director. I don't have anything much in my hands.
Yeah.
How do I learn?
You learn if this is something that is truly your calling, you have to figure out your ways to learn, which is now, see, even back in the day when I started out making short films, this was 2011, right? We already had digital cameras. We already had phone cameras that could do a decent job. And we made our first, like, since we didn't know how to do something professionally, at first we were just doing with our cameras and figuring out if this works, and then getting digital cameras and doing it. Now with like cameras and like our phones being good enough to handle it, you just keep working.
Oka side,
Yeah,
with
yes.
the equipment being so readily available, let's say phones, you can
Yes.
shoot in phone today.
Yes.
The competition and the kind of content and short films that are coming are also increasingly crazy.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
Today, I think I open YouTube and I say short films. Every day, every hour, one short film is releasing.
Yes.
Correct?
Very much
So,
so.
with this insane competition, why short film now?
Short film is always like sort of like it's a litmus test, right? You can sit, you can be on set working as an AD forever. You can be part of someone else's entourage as a writer, as a co-writer, or be an assistant director. But at the end of the day, you have to take that plunge of like figuring out if I can do this on my own. Before someone tells you you are worthy, you need to kind of like test for yourself. Where do I stand?
And where do you seek the validation after the short film? Now, with
Yeah.
respect to, there's so many platforms.
There's
right?
so many
People
platforms.
are uploading them on YouTube.
Yeah.
Some people do not like uploading them on YouTube. You just send it to festivals.
Yes.
So, what do you think should be the perspective there? Should someone take it to, like, say, a YouTube? Should
Yeah.
someone take it to just a screening?
Yeah.
Like, we also did a short film
Yeah.
and we put it on YouTube
Yeah.
for us, and we did a couple of screenings. That's how
Yeah.
we went. But
Yeah.
yours, I know you didn't want to put it on YouTube initially.
Yeah.
You
please.
wanted to take it to short films. So how do you figure that out?
I have done my round of like making short films so that I can purely put them up on YouTube. Because I knew there was a kind of a validation, as you said, the validation of being how many views I can get, right? And that was like a kick for me. With this project, which is Puppets, I wanted to see how I stand right now, given the amount, given the years that I have been working at this, and if I can truly push myself to see how I stand with people out there everywhere in the film festival jury to see where I stand, because every product has like a a demography, right?
Correct.
This Puppets was made with a particular kind of demography in mind, kind of like a
Kani,
content.
if I take a short film
Yeah.
and I do not get the validation,
Yeah.
it's a very easy way for me to give up
Yeah.
in today's world.
Yes.
Tata. So, how do I give up with that? Because I think you also might have got a lot of times when
So
you
many.
feel like giving up. Nakunda talent asalu cheyocha asalu
Yeah.
can I? Because there's so many people around us who want to do the same thing.
People around us who want to do the same thing is not the factor that I think should make us feel low. It always gives me more of a kick.
So, what made you feel low? What was your lowest?
I think there are several lows, and I think there are going to be more lows ahead. It doesn't what I will tell you is that it's about when sometimes you're working on a project and you have made it and no one watches it. It's sort of like the equivalent of when a tree falls and no one hears it. Did the tree actually fall? So it can kind of gives you that sensibility. You are working on this and no one has seen it yet. So that
How do you
tends
pull yourself up? How did you pull yourself up? How did you think this is not the end?
I think at that point of time, if I was to really think about it, I don't think there's a truly one inspirational, one epiphanical moment. It's not like that. It's not like in the movies. More than anything, it's just like everyday work. This is something I need, and I'll keep at it. I can't I wish I had an anecdote, but I don't. It's just the fact that you grind with it and you just figure it out.
See, I'm sure
Yeah.
weekly, more directors, 3 directors you meet,
At least.
correct?
Yeah.
Today.
Yes.
Which is, from when did you start?
I think I can say very honestly 2010.
So,
that was doing
in
theatre.
13 years.
Yeah.
From 13 years.
Since 13 years, yeah.
You have just been trying to improve yourself, trying to build yourself, trying to do everything, and today
Yeah.
you are in a state where you're meeting at least 3 to 4 directors, socializing every day.
In a sense, yeah.
What gives you the push to keep doing it? Even though there is a certainty of it might not happen. What is it?
I don't think about the effect of it. I just think about what it is in the present. which is I need to go out there, I need to meet people, I need to learn more constantly, because every day the technology is changing. Every day there is something. What is brilliant about films, cinema particularly, is every Friday the rules are changed, right? So like you cannot go with the
And
trend.
now the platforms also. OTT, there's a different thing, you know.
Everyone,
YouTube,
yeah.
correct. The
So
platform.
like we know a different kind of a landscape prior to Bahubali. Post Bahubali, it's a different kind of a landscape. Then OTTs came along, and you know it always keeps
Do
changing.
you think Bahubali is a good film?
It's a great film. It opened the doors for everything.
Because there were a lot of people
I'm
who were
sure.
coming out and saying there's no story, you know, it does
I
not
don't
have a
I don't
base.
understand. I don't understand that. I think it's a lot of fun. It's joy. It made people happy.
It
And
got us together.
yeah, so like I think if there is the purpose of art is to make us feel less lonely, I think it did its job.
Correct.
Yeah,
Now, there are a lot of people, okay, this is
Yeah.
again a little lighter note.
sure.
But ఈరోజు నేను ఒక సినిమా చూస్తే, for
Yeah.
example,
Yeah,
if I just think about which angle they're taking, what kind of fight sequences, what kind of material they're thinking behind it,
yeah,
every person who's able to think of that thinks he can be a filmmaker.
sure. It's a lot like a cook.
Correct.
Yeah,
What do you have to say to that?
nothing.
Because
It's great. I think it's great. I think the more awareness we have towards the craft, we will demand better stories. We will demand, you know,
Correct.
more like a more niche from it. We will demand more so that we don't slouch.
But is it enough
It is enough.
just to be aware of what they're using in a film?
No.
Is it enough to make a film?
I see there are no hard and
Fast
fast
rules.
rules, dude. There are people who have just come in. See, for me, it took. So, as you said, I have been at this for 13 years. There are people who have done it in 2. There are people who have done it in 1. There are people who have just come in and gone. There are people who have it has taken longer for them, right? There's no hard and fast rule. You just go with your gut. You go with your instinct. Maybe you will land on your feet. Maybe you will fall flat on your face.
So one thing which is true, which people don't say, is everyone has their own path,
Yes.
and they have to figure it out.
That's it.
Then what is it today that are the resources for them to figure it out?
It varies individually.
I mean-
It's such a wide question.
Correct.
Yeah.
The reason I'm trying to understand is, if suppose I want to get into direction, ఇప్పటికిప్పుడు నేను సినిమా తీయాలనేది నా కళ.
You want to make a movie right
I
now.
want to make a movie right now, and I want to make a movie.
Sure.
I want to understand right now what are the resources I have, the right resources, and then there are a lot of people giving reviews and thinking
Sure.
they know
Sure.
filmmaking, which some might not. It's again a
Yeah,
perspective.
yeah.
But how today can I
Hmm.
get the right resources? Where do I go?
Hmm.
ఇప్పుడు యూట్యూబ్లో ఎంత కంటెంట్ ఉందంటే,
Yes.
who do I believe?
Yeah.
Who is authentic
Huh.
to understand
Yeah.
this is right, this is wrong? For me to even make a decision of right and wrong, to be aware of the information, how do I go to the resources?
I honestly wish I had an answer for that. I genuinely wish I had an answer for that. It's a very vague and.
How did you get the resources? Apart from the film school. Film school is obviously schools, there's many film schools
Yeah,
which do
yeah.
that.
So film school was like, prior to film school, I was already making short films. Prior to film school, I was doing short films. I was working for magazines. I was doing theater. And even before that, this was like 2010, but from a very early age on, I was about reading, I was about writing, I was about watching movies with a very obsessive
So
quality.
you have to get into it.
You just have to get into it. There is no other way about it.
And you said theater, right?
Yeah.
So I also did a little
Yes,
theater.
you did great theater. You worked with Ram sir,
Yes,
who is
I
amazing.
worked with Nishumbita.
Yeah.
I worked in Nishumbita. It was
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah.
But as an actor,
Yeah.
when I act, I'm not
Yeah.
saying I'm an actor, but when I act
As an actor,
on stage, I see a difference between theater
yeah,
and camera.
Yeah.
Correct? Because let's say now I have the camera there. The frame is here. I can't move more.
yeah,
I can't. I have to only do such movements, right?
Sure.
Which are things that people don't know behind.
for example.
People only
yeah.
see, they don't see this is a set.
Yeah.
And there's a lot behind
Yeah.
that's happening, correct?
yeah.
So I can't move much. This
Yeah.
is the frame. Theater, it's not that.
Yeah.
So with perspective of direction, what is the difference between a theater direction and an acting and a camera or a movie direction?
I
Is
think
there any?
No, I don't think there is any difference between that, because at the end of the day, it's all about being able to engage with people. It comes down to that. in theater, what happens is there is an actor who's on stage, and there's a blocking for them that goes around, and
There is a lighting for them.
There's a lighting for them, and everything is kind of like hardly, it's bound in its place.
There's no cut, yeah.
Theater is very much an actor's medium, no doubt about it. Where the actor, once they go on stage, if there is a person who's on the right hand corner of the audience, and there's a person who's in the center in the last row, and there's a person who's on the left side and on the corner, they should all perceive the performance with the same intensity and magnitude. Which is now the for example, if the actor is really venting or something, like, we have to sort of like, without even realizing it, audience kind of like does an edit. It just happens very magically in theater.
Then why is it
Yeah.
that the money,
Yeah.
coming back to it because
Yeah.
it's necessary, is so low in theater here?
Yeah.
Whereas it's so high for movies. What do you think is the reason for that? Because I've gone to New York.
Yeah.
I watched one Broadway show, not
Yeah.
many.
Broadway is very expensive.
It cost me, if I wanted to watch Lion King,
Yeah.
which is the
Broadway
one,
play.
correct.
Yeah.
I think it cost me around, it was an $800 a change.
Look at that.
Correct. Which is the most expensive, which is the amount of money Indians spend on gold.
I can make a short film.
You can make a short film, exactly.
I can make a very good short film.
We
Yeah.
could go to a Broadway show
Yeah.
called Fat Ham
Yeah.
with a $65 or $70, which was one of the lower
Yeah.
shows because
Yeah.
it just started off. Again, that
Yeah.
will pick up very soon.
Yeah.
We just started off, and I got that discount because one of my cousin was in NYU, so student discount. all
Student
of that.
discount and everything like that.
All
yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
And that gave me goosebumps. I still get goosebumps thinking about it.
Broadway in New York is a different beast.
Ikkada, why is there no money in theatre
It's not
here?
about ikkada. It's about, see, basically, like, it's like the same conversation we have related to sports, which is why is it that cricket is so
Correct.
easy, like, this, and why other sports we ignore so much.
Correct.
I don't know. See, at the end of the day, I can tell you that there is a communal experience that is very affordable for people. That's why they can go to the theater. That's why they can go to cinema and like enjoy. Now, like, not to go into a tangent or something. Now that is also becoming a little out of reach for people because of, like, with the multiplex. Even though I enjoy the fact that now we have like a clean experience, but it's kind of like bleeding into, like, now we're thinking so much before we go to a movie.
Correct.
But still, at the end of the day, it is easily accessible entertainment.
And also
for
now,
people.
don't you think,
Yeah.
When I'm watching a movie,
Yeah.
to be very honest, if
Yeah,
there are
please.
boring scenes, if there are boring songs, I fast forward.
What is boring?
Something that doesn't connect to me.
That's it. It's so particular, right? It's individual.
So I fast
You
forward.
fast forward it.
But for a director,
Yeah.
it hurts.
It does.
Because that 2 seconds or 5 seconds or 10 seconds
Yeah.
has been taken out with a day or 2 days of hard work, scripting of not only just the director,
Yeah.
but the technicians and the team and every single person. How do you feel about OTT coming in
Yeah.
and you'll be just able to fast forward everything?
I think it's fine. I think it's really fine. I think there is no reason to be a purist about this whole endeavor of ours, where we are taking so much self-importance in it. I think if we have not been able to engage you, you are absolutely fair to fast forward it. You're sitting there, you are giving your precious time to watch something that someone has made for you. You are absolutely emboldened to just see the first thing and cut off.
Isn't it difficult?
Yeah.
Because when we used to go to theatre,
Yeah.
if the tickets are booked,
Yeah.
if you're spending the 150, 250 rupees,
Yeah.
they're enjoying the experience,
Yeah.
so people are coming. But now, how can someone track it?
You can't.
It's releasing.
Yeah.
Someone is viewing it, someone is fast forwarding it, and so much data,
Yeah.
even though the platforms might have, might not have, is
Yeah.
not getting to the artist,
Yeah.
the person who's taking it,
Yeah.
behind the scenes.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? How do you think you will deal with that?
I see. I have never. I wouldn't know about this because I haven't made anything that has gone on OTT. So it's not fair for me to comment on that because it's pure lack of knowledge. So I don't think I can answer that. But on a very simple level, maybe we can just say that everyone kind of is aware of what works and what doesn't work in their To have like something that is constantly engaging in the run of a story is not the point. You can't have like in a graph, you can't have it all be like
Correct.
on that axis. Your nerve cells will tear themselves open. You have a graph that goes up and goes down, goes up, and so we know, everyone knows when there's a scene that is going down. It's been factored in, and because we also are aware that okay, we're going to pay, like just trust us in this, and we are going to give you a nice payoff. You can't have like, okay, the hero comes, he beats a person, then next he beats a
Correct.
car, then next he punches an asteroid. Okay, now what next? You can't constantly keep upping and upping and upping and upping. Where do you go?
Correct.
You need to have downfalls, you need to have lull, you need to have something.